Alright, where's my phone? Alright, where's my phone? Okay, got my
I don't
phone.
know.
Alright,
Puff, here's a minor MHA thing.
minor
The
MHA.
anime got to this panel, and I think they adapted it very well.
No, I saw. I'm glad it's going around. It's making the rounds. Yeah, really good face. Really good face. It's funny to think he made that exact face like 30 feet away from All for One.
That is a very good idea.
All right, so we're gonna try and finish off MHA today.
Hope so.
But before anything, we have to do this. We have to. I'm gonna shout out the Weeb Club because I predict this channel will be like officially bigger than theirs in like a month.
Hmm
Because we're getting almost as
it's the Weeaboo Club. It has Kraftsdwarf, Nunmanji, and Vindy Vondo. It used to. They haven't uploaded in like a year, and it used to have what the what. So smart people, smarter than us.
yeah, absolutely smarter than us. And just that, like like we're gonna have like more subscribers than them like soonish. And we already our most viewed video is actually like I think almost twice as much as theirs, which is kind of sad because like if you like the kind of stuff we do, like you'd probably love them. Like I don't
Yeah,
know, like I'll even like have a list of some of like my favorites
yeah.
in
Off
like
the
of a
top of my
playlist of them.
head, the must watches are like most of their EWB, and then their Gurren video is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, and then you have some that are just like really funny, like the liar game one and the Angie one. Angie was
And the
really funny.
Ichigo 100% one is also very funny.
Yeah. So
Actually fucking dying.
so again, if you like YouTube critique, if you like funny anime people, if you like people smarter than us, check them out because they deserve all the success we got. By that I mean slightly more than they
Mhm.
have now. All right,
If you
so
want to hear other people who talk about shonen and are smart enough to know what Kinnikuman is, the lowest bar of all time.
dude, one of them is actually Red Kunikuman. It's insane.
Two of them have now because Kraftsdorf read it.
Oh my god, what a bunch of freaks! Like you
I
have to,
mean, Kraftsdorf and he did it with Mathwiz, and they had to force themselves to on a different podcast.
you have to hate yourself in order to
Early Kinnikuman is one like it's so old. It's when manga paneling didn't quite like get its footing yet, and so one, it's really hard to read, and two, for some reason, even though it's Kinnikuman, a lot of early scans look really awful.
yeah,
So Kinnikuman's actually pretty hard to read.
it is. Okay, so now let's get started. You want to talk about Vigilantes because it's a fun, cool spin-off.
Yeah, I like Vigilantes. It's fun. You should read it. It's a good time. The Crawler is a very fun main character. If you want to bitch that Deku didn't get his cool guy ending, go read Vigilantes. He gets something closer to a cool guy ending.
Yeah. And no, also I think it's like really cool that like MHA like I wish that like some of my favorites like Bleach or One Piece had like a really good side manga that was over 100 chapters
Oh,
long because
I think we can just bring this up because also MHA has light novels that I'm reading right now. They're not like Bleaches where they're like big. They're just like dumb and cute.
okay.
Uh, but I'd say MHA is probably, off the top of my head, the manga that has done the best job at having a bunch of kind of like arguably canon, but you can treat them as canon spin-offs that are all like pretty good.
Yeah. Like it's
like
pretty wild.
the movies are pretty good. By shonen standards, they're great.
Yeah.
Vigilantes is just good. Like Vigilantes as a spin-off is better than a lot of like sequel manga, like canon sequel manga. And then what was the other one? The light novels I'm reading are cute and fun if you have the energy to get your hands on it. And then team up missions are like ongoing gag series, and those are really fun. You get really fun, dumb character interactions. You get a whole chapter about Tail Boy being sad because he has a very generic power, and little kids keep owning him for it. And it's very good. It's fun to explore. Or like I even use it as a talking point about like you can be quirkless and be a hero shit, or like Melissa Shield's dad, David Shield. He's not quirkless. His quirk is the tops of his fingers, I think like from the middle joint up, are rubbery, so he can't stub his fingers. And he's like, I cannot be a hero with this. I'm going to die. So he does something else.
Yeah, I know you want to bring that guy up for another topic we have, so do you want to skip straight to that?
uh, we can talk about Vigilantes a little bit more, which is
Yeah,
just
we did.
Vigilantes. Knuckle Duster paralleling All Might's really funny and good.
Oh yeah, no, it's cool. Like I remember, like in the early part, they said like they want like inversions of My Hero Academia's main characters, which is All Might and Deku. Like, what if Deku like never got All for One, like never like had the courage to like be a hero and try and take the hero
And kind of just
test?
grew up.
Yeah, which is it's just a guy who wants to help people but is too afraid to fight any villains at all until like
Yeah.
he like later on he'll get the confidence to do that after
Yeah, and
meeting
then
Knuckle Duster, this insane
who
old man who punched the shit out of people.
mhm. Knuckles fun because the series never treats him as outright good because he's not. He is okay at best. Like when he kills the bee inside of his daughter, that's probably when he's at his most morally justified because
Yeah.
he's just saving someone. But then also, like, it's regularly stated over and over that, like, oh my god, he is so fucking violent. What is his fucking problem? Why is he like this?
He was a vengeance.
Yeah, he's Knuckle Duster is just a very fun, funny character, and then Pop Step's pretty fun.
Yeah,
I think she's definitely the weakest out of the main three.
she is.
Literally is worried that the guy she has a crush on is gonna date a hot woman and turns into a villain.
Yeah, epic,
That's not a very
awesome,
nice way to describe that character.
awesome MHA with its amazing female characters. Awesome, cool.
Look at look. It doesn't matter who the writer.
I love Captain Celebrity too, and
Oh, I like that they always say he's one of America's top heroes. I'm assuming he's number two. I'm going to because it's fun, and also he is really, really strong.
yeah, it's like if he was just like the outward appearance of All Might, but like to a lesser degree. Like the super popular. Well, I mean, he has like a bad rap, but like he's like the big dumb himbo that some people like to think All Might is.
Yeah, like he is like objectively really flawed. Like he literally does the thing where like he'll let accidents get a little bit worse so that he can swoop in and save them at a better time. Yeah, he's pretty scummy. And then he has a very fun arc. I like him. I love that the ultimate reveal is that his wife, who keeps nagging him, is just like a kind of frumpy girl from college that he had a crush on because she kept ignoring it.
I know, dude. It was so great when she
Those two are
showed up.
so
Yeah.
cute. They're
I
so fun.
know. Awesome. I love it.
I would recommend. It's a fun time. Vigilantes, I will say. The reason I say pseudo canon, even though it is like Horikoshi literally said he had to balance how much of Aizawa's backstory he was going to show in he was going to have be shown in Vigilantes compared to what he was going to show in his own.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's definitely canon, but I think of exactly one error, Puff.
Yeah.
All Might in MHA outright states, I do not have super hearing. But in a very funny panel in Vigilantes, he puts his hands to his ears and it has like a top text that says like might ear when he's listening for something, which you could just read as like he's being stupid.
No, that's what I would do. It's like, oh, he's just like really concentrating right now.
No, but that's I think the closest thing we have to like a major inconsistency. I might be forgetting one. I don't care. Otherwise, a fun shit. Oh, Mirko and Rappa interact, and that's a phenomenal exchange.
Oh no,
My
that was
goodness.
great. I love them. Like, just arguing over whether kicks or punches were better. It was great.
No, I love how he's literally like, kicking's not manly. She's like, I'm not a man. He's like, that's a fair point. So yeah, I would recommend Vigilantes. It's a pretty fun manga.
It does
Also,
kind of
oh
just
my
like
god, the main character is like single-handedly an argument against calling mid quirks bad. Holy shit.
yeah. I mean, I do feel like it kind of falls over the pitfalls that I don't like about side material, which is like I feel like Aizawa's backstory should have been in the main story, but like
I don't mind because it honestly
no, like
wasn't
again, like I
that
don't mind.
interesting.
Yeah, I know. Like the thing is, I don't mind because Vigilantes is good. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing about side material. If it's good, I can't really complain all that much.
If it
because good
sucks
things
and
are
I have to
good.
go there to get information, then it's annoying.
Yeah.
I guess I also don't mind because like it's honestly not that interesting because it's just like his friend is just like, oh, his friend is why Aizawa wears goggles. That's cute, but otherwise, really, just the fact that all you know is Aizawa has a dead friend who was reckless, and that's why he doesn't like his students being reckless. It's literally like the beginning and end of it.
Yeah, I know it's kind of weird how like that's like the most in canon thing, and yet I think that's the like least interesting part of all of Vigilantes was Aizawa's backstory.
No, yeah, it was the part I think I actually had like the least fun reading.
Yeah, all right. So, moving on. Next, this is a weird one. It's a no MHA fan tried fucking a frog.
Oh yeah, so more people hate MHA fans. I have to bring this up because I think it was a Doron's World or was it another one? One of the big stupid TikTok guys with their stupid avatars with the fake mask. Um, po- Posted like MHA fandom sucks. There was a story about an MHA trying to like have sex with a frog at a zoo, and because Puff and I are not stupid, right? That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Then we looked into it. Shocker, it did not happen. You don't need to say MHA fans tried to have sex with frogs to critique them. Just
Well,
call them cringe and
I
move on with your
mean, I
day.
guess like that might have been a joke. It's probably what it is, but like,
No, but at least some people think it's real.
eh.
So we might as well clarify. That one's not true. Shocker.
Funny image though, very funny image.
Oh no, 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 yeah, no, I wish people didn't think it was real. It's a hilarious headline.
Yeah. All right. So next is the Trash Taste podcast thinks that Bleach is a faster watch than MHA, which sounds insane to me when I heard them say
Faster
that.
watch, like an
Yeah.
easier thing to watch to sit
Yes.
through.
Yes.
Um, that's interesting. I think part of the reason Boruto can feel like a hard watch early on is because you think it's gonna be like Naruto, right?
Yeah.
But then the way the Boruto anime expands on its characters is it adds a fuck ton of slice of life, which I like. But when you go in expecting Naruto and you get
I
slice of
said
life, like, yo,
Bleach.
what the hell is what?
I said Bleach.
Oh, you said Bleach? I heard Boruto.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's
fucking idiot.
Bleach. Yeah, isn't that
Bleach is
insane?
a faster watch? That's
Yes.
freaking... Wait a
No,
minute.
like I remember they said like, dude, I cannot catch up to seven of MHA. Like it's just such a slog. Like I remember back in the day, I'd watch all of Bleach, and like it went down easy. I'm like, of course it
That's
went down
just
easy because you were probably a kid when you watched
It's just
it.
because they're older.
You probably
Yeah, no,
had all
kids
the
are
free time in
dumb.
the world. The
I
Bleach
watched,
anime
like,
is so okay. I love Bleach so much. I love like all the characters. I love the
Anime
story.
is painful.
I would rather die. I'd rather get hit by a car than watch the anime.
No, literally, I think it's just like as you get exposed more, it gets harder. Because the two anecdotes I think of is one, when I was like 11, I watched like all of Namek in like a few days via shitty YouTube rips on like an iPad, and I was having the time of my life. I could not do that today. I would go insane. And then the second one is just my friend. He watched some of Bleach and liked it, and I gave him the manga. He's like, "Ooh, this is good," and then he read it. And then he tried to rewatch the anime with his partner, and he's like, I can't do it." I think it's very just they're older. Like if they went back to rewatch Bleach, I'm sure nostalgia would carry them a bit, but I don't think they'd be able to sit through the whole thing like confidently.
Yeah, no, I don't like because like MHA, like we have some comments about like what the anime falling off or whatever.
The anime is not
But
perfect. It's
but it's
very hit or
always
miss.
paced, pretty much.
Paced.
Like
Yeah, there's like
almost
no
always.
fucking filler.
Like
And the filler that exists is like a few episodes and is either pretty good, really funny, like the murder mystery, or like the IQ girl one was bad. That was the bad one.
yeah, but like long story short, it was way worse back in the day. Well, I mean, like I say back in the day,
They,
it still happens sometimes,
you
but
know,
like it's
basically,
not closer. But like
guys, you got to appreciate how like our new standard for not very good anime, which is like, MHA isn't as good as the Jujutsu anime or something. I have my own beef with the Jujutsu anime. We'll get to that in the Jujutsu episode.
oh boy,
But like, no, I would say stuff like Jujutsu is like currently like the high standard for Battle Shonen and Jump getting adapted. And then like MHA is like the mid standard. It's like, oh my god, what a beautiful mid standard. Oh my goodness.
yeah, I know. I wish some of my favorite Titan adaptation is cool as MHA because then I'd watch them.
Yeah, like I'm privileged enough to be a One Piece fan where it's getting a new fucking anime. um, but like other things, Soul Eater, that shit, I don't want that shit to get a new anime. I don't trust them to adapt it properly, actually.
Well, I mean, I like the run of the original anime. It looked good.
Oh no, it did because it was Bones, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It was either Bones or Mad. It was Bones. Madhouse actually didn't make as many good things. It was Bones, I assume. It was Madhouse, and they're good at making things. They're just bad at making their own material.
It'd be so funny if like they picked it up again, then they had to like rewrite the last couple episodes they did as like a fever dream that Maka had.
That would be fun. They don't restart. They keep going. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
actually, something did do something like that.
Oh really? What?
Blue Exorcist just pretended when it branched off into non-canon material, just pretended that didn't happen and then made a canon season 2 instead.
I actually
Which
don't
is
know when that is, so I'll be interested to find out what that.
the last canon thing that happens in the Blue Exorcist anime is Rin going insane in the forest.
Oh, I
Everything
see.
after that's bullshit.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now I'm thinking
So
about it.
so they could take that approach, which actually would be kind of interesting.
Yeah. All right. Next, the quirkless demographic is underrepresented, which, yeah, I could definitely see why
I
you'd say that
kind of
because
get like I
the
get like we don't
statistic.
see it with younger kids because it's 20% of the population, and I'm willing to bet that like it might be like radical, like literally it's borderline impossible nowadays, and almost all of them are like literally like very very old people.
Yeah,
So
but
it makes sense
like,
we don't see a ton, but I would like to see more than like what is it like three? Deku,
y-
Melissa, All Might.
yeah, and oh wait,
I'm
no,
not
four,
counting
because
people who lost their quirks. That's a
no,
different
no,
thing.
for I keep forgetting
Oh,
his name, Laser Boy.
Aoyama.
Yeah, or Aoyama, Laser Boy. And yeah, I guess it's just like, but when you're going into the season, you see the statistic 1 out of 5. I kind of get like it sets the expectation that maybe it'll be more prominent.
And like when you do them, like when you like think about it, it's like yeah, realistically, it makes sense that we don't see that many. I would have liked to see like I don't know, like maybe one or two more. Would have been fun.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a giant flaw. It's just like I would have liked to explore that aspect of the world building more.
All right. Next, All for One taking over Shigaraki goes against themes because a
Oh
few
yeah.
people we found said this.
Oh yeah. We found a couple people who said that All for One trying to take over Shigaraki's theme body goes against the theme of inherited will, and it's like, do you know what a villain is?
Yeah, because like again, like
They
the
do
idea is that
inherited will wrong.
yeah, the hero's doing it the good way and the villain's doing it the bad
Like
way. Because the
Naruto did
villain,
this too with like Madara and Obito.
yeah, you know,
Because they were
it's
doing
a
bad
very
inherited will, and
no,
Hashirama and his goons were doing good inherited
yeah,
will.
yeah, I know. It's like such a common thing across like so many like
Like
different stories about like the old man just wants like a new body, so he
Sekiro.
steals a body. I was actually gonna say Kingdom Hearts.
Oh god. I
Xehanort tries to steal so many
Mhm.
bodies in that man. He's
No, but
trying to
it's
steal
just
so
like
many.
it's just like also just like did you trust All for One? Did you think All for One was genuinely like yeah, I am happy to trust the next generation to carry out my will. No, he's fucking evil. He would never do
He's
that.
just an old man who wants a new body. That's what they. That's what it is. It's cool. It's a great
Yeah,
trope.
it's just like, it's not a contradiction of the themes. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
We even do see villains who do that correctly though, like Re Destro. Well, if they do it wrong, like Re Destro carries his dad's name, but he doesn't like actually carry the dream correctly. Because like Re Destro was like a genuine like liberation like activist. He was a terrorist too, but like he was at least like fighting for something. Where Re
Yeah.
Destro was like the head of a fucking corporation and works directly with the government and the Hero Association.
Yeah, I know they're white collar now.
Yeah, they've lost all their sauce. They have no
Yeah,
spice.
but again, just to summarize, like a theme being explored in a different way by a different angle makes complete sense. Like you
Yeah,
could
like
have
villains
you
are
could
foils. They're
yeah
supposed to
yeah.
express stuff like that. That
And
makes
then,
sense.
you could have it be more like a parallel thing where like a villain generally wants to try and pass on their like ideology and stuff like
And
that.
fail for like
Yeah,
personal reasons, like
yeah,
Kaido.
yeah. You can do like one or the other. Like both can be very cool and good. It's just that MHA went for the other one.
Yeah, which is fine. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. So this is just an annoying thing that like a lot of weekly people said. Kubo was Bakugo's grandpa.
Oh yeah, because they were just wrong.
Yeah, because they're like literally in the chapter where like the comparison between the two characters is made. All for One says it's literally impossible. I wiped him and his whole bloodline out. I know this kid cannot possibly be like physically related to him.
Oh, he's literally like the universe is fucking cursing me by having this happen.
Yeah, it's just like, oh no, the friend of One for All. I hate him. I hate
Yeah.
him. I hate his guts. Yeah. All right. So next, this is a weird one, and I don't think you've heard about this before.
Oh, I can't wait.
Quirk counseling is an analog for critical race theory.
What?
Quirk counseling is an analog for critical race theory.
Where did you hear that?
It was Twitter.
Were they saying that as was that like a critique or like a good? What was their angle?
I don't. It was said it like in passing, like just like, oh yeah, they didn't substantiate it. It was just like
Quirk counseling is just child therapy.
I know. It's so like I have no idea. It was just such a striking sentence that just stuck in my mind. That like this was actually long before we started like planning for these videos.
That's
just
funny.
I just always remember like, man, it's so funny.
I'm not sure if that matches up with like time. Like I don't think critical race theory was like an American buzzword until like well after Quirk counseling was established as like a thing in the MHAverse. I don't think that timeline matches up in the slightest.
I'm just remembering that one line the reporter lady said of like, the problem with quirk counseling is that it highlights our differences.
Oh, that's so
Maybe that's where
funny.
they got it. Maybe that's where they got it.
That's so stupid. Okay. Oh god, that's so fucking dumb. Okay.
All right, let's move on. All right, next is just a thing I noticed. TCB butchers Horikoshi's art sometimes, which is a shame. Or like,
yeah, I think it's because he uses a lot of like deep blacks.
Yeah, and this is one thing I've always said, like ever since the Amino days with early scans with One Piece, is that like, why is the black point always so high? I can literally go into my phone, put the black point down, and it looks more like what you'd see in a manga volume.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't think this was TCB. I think, or like TCB had shit scans that week. But I remember the chapter where Koga went to her old house. You could not fucking read that.
Oh yeah, no. The one I'm thinking of is when like Edge Q's fighting Nagant.
Oh, that was also super hard to read.
Yeah, like anything that takes place at night was like not great.
I think Toga's was actually the worst because it's in like a full black house. I could not see anything. Which is like, that's why you should read the fan translation and then the official translation a few days later. Because one, the art's probably going to look better, and two, you'll get a different translation. It'll be fun. Enjoy the privilege. We said this with One Piece too. Enjoy the privilege of getting two different translations. That's so cool.
All right, so next is just the MHA movies, and because we never really went in deep on each one individually.
Oh, no, we just said they're good. All right, yeah. So first one is Two Heroes, right?
Two Heroes, yes.
Yes. Two Heroes takes first of all, like the canonicity is always fun. I love how it's like, it takes place during summer break, and it's trying to justify how did each different character end up on this island. And it's like, Bakugo got invited for winning the sports festival, and he had a +1. Sure, Bakugo and Kirishima are here. That makes enough sense. All Might got invited, dragged Deku. Sure, makes enough sense. Endeavor got invited and didn't want to go. Todoroki went instead. I believe that first half. Why would Todoroki go? That part's a little weird, but like, whatever, he's here now, sure.
He heard that Bakugo was going.
Momo got invited, makes sense. Invited some of her friends, makes sense. Jiro is not one of them, even though she's like, I think Momo's closest friend. I guess Jiro was busy that weekend. Kaminari and Mineta somehow got bullshitted their way here. Good for them. What king?
Yeah, just summer jobs.
Yeah, how they got a summer job there is beyond me. But and then the actual movie is fun because it is like, I think what you pointed out is it's really fun because the MHA movies kind of do what we like about Film Red, where like it explores something that the manga plot, for one reason or another, would never be able to explore.
Yeah,
and movie one explores Deku and All Might fighting together, which is so fun.
Because like, again, like it can literally, it should never happen in the main story because like early on it's supposed to be All Might's dying and he's gonna lose his powers soon, and Deku needs to learn how to control his powers properly. So like their skill levels are so far apart they would like never be able to match up, and by the time Deku possibly could, All Might already lost his powers long ago. So like it's just fun to see that like it exists somewhere in like in a movie, which is really cool and good. And that gif of them running side by side is like fucking iconic, and I love
Other funny thing, a lot of MHA's best OST gets revealed in movies first. This is the first example. All for One's OST, which everyone fucking loves, did not start as All for One's OST. It started as the main OST of that stupid Captain Kid ass villain. Oh, and also just like the main plot terrorist group, fueled by All for One. I don't give a shit. Whatever. The actual thing of like David Shield, so a very powerless man, doing everything he can to try and not lose the symbol of peace because of how much he cares about it is like really cool.
Yeah,
Because it's like
cool.
someone other than All Might desperately trying to cling to what he represents. And that, yeah, I like that. And that's why it ends with Deku fighting with All Might. It's good. Also, completely unrelated. I saw this in theaters as a young guy. I went with my friend, and there's a villain Mook. I don't remember what his actual name is, but in theaters we're watching, and he pulls out his weapon, and they say "Blade Kill," and we, like very polite teenagers, cackled really loud for like 2 minutes in the middle of the audience. Because Blade Kill is a great name.
All right, so next is Heroes Rising, which
Um,
is I think might be like the weakest of the three,
I
but
think I think I like it more than the first one.
yeah, it's yeah, you know,
I
like
think I,
they're all good. Like
I think that's because I think the beginning is really fun with the first one or the second one. I mean, them
yeah,
helping
going
that
around
island.
town. Yeah.
That's super fun because it's showing like, oh, heroes helping in like a lot of cute practical ways. I like this a lot. It's very fun. I like how Todoroki is just destroying the economy by making all this ice. You monster. um, yeah, I like the beginning. I like the situation of summer break, go do safe, peaceful training. That's fun. I like the main villain and how he's kind of like what's to come with both Shigaraki and the Paranormal Liberation Front
Yeah.
because he kind of represents a lot of similar ideals to them.
Yeah.
But he's just like incomplete because he doesn't have the backing they do.
Yeah. All he has is
Uh,
his three best friends.
yeah. And like the way they fight is really cool. A lot of good Sakuga, hooray! I think the most powerful scene, first of all, like second instance of great OST, Might You debuts in this movie.
I know, it's awesome.
And then while it is super fucking funny that Bakugo gets all one for all, that's hilarious. It's great. It's super funny. Um, I also fuck with it really heavily solely because two scenes. One, there's a line early on. There's a line right when Bakugo gets it from Deku where he
Yeah.
says like, "You'll lose your quirk," and Deku says a line where he's like, "I think All Might would be okay with it if he knew it was you." And I don't know how it sounds in the dub, but in the sub, that was a really fucking powerful line, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And then the second is they're beating the shit out of themselves fighting the storm guy. And Bakugo at one point needs to reach him because he's below him and he can't stand up. So Bakugo melts through the rock in front of him with his buffed explosions. Phenomenal fucking visual. Oh my god.
Yeah, and again, it kind of does a thing that like we never got in the main series, which is like a full-on Bakugo Deku team up. Which
Not
like
only a Bakugo Deku team,
we only get
but
that like
it's
at the very final arc, and even then
yeah,
it's more so like a
but
like
also
they
what it showed us that we never got to see is someone with a good quirk getting one for all and getting to see how it gets buffed because that is a thing that we're told can happen, but we never actually see. So that's kind of cool to
well
see
we
too.
kind of technically see it with Deku and like Black Whip, but like
Yeah, but even then, those are okay quirks getting yacked. This is a objectively
yacked quirk
phenomenal
getting
quirk
yacked.
getting buffed, which is so good that even though he's had it for 10 seconds, he's able to already plow through things.
Yeah. All right.
Fun movie,
Yeah, and then there's a World Heroes Mission, which was
which I
we
think is
talked a
the
bit
best
about.
one.
It is very good. I like the side character with the Boyd. He's got the
Uh-huh.
Boyd.
Yeah, he's super strong. He was such a strong character that he outranked Ochako in a popularity poll right after she had a really good scene and got me mad. um, no, Two Heroes, not Two Heroes. World Hero Mission is fun. Uh, the programming was fucked up because they called it Three Musketeers, and all of the promotion kept showing Bakugo, Deku,
Bakugo,
Todoroki
Toroki,
in
and their
their
fun little
fancy little
outfits.
gear that they use for the first 10 minutes, and it's really funny. They never use it again. But otherwise, cool. It's just about
I'm
what type
so
of people genuinely feel because like All for One and Dr. Garaki are kind of disingenuous
yeah.
about the like quark singularity theory because like All for One basically makes it happen by giving people quirks that aren't made for their bodies. And Dr. Garaki's like, oh, it's curable. if I'm the one doing the curing. Whereas this cult is a group that like genuinely believes in it.
Yeah.
And it's fun because like the main villain's super fun. He's thinking about how his quirk makes it hard for him to like actually connect with people. So he became kind of isolated and got radicalized. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
And
And
I
like,
also like how like it's kind of similar to like Hody versus Arlong, where like Hody said he believed in his
yeah.
fishman genes, but he took drugs. Even though these people say they believe that like quirks are going to destroy the world, including theirs, they still take trigger to buff their quirks. Whereas Bakugo and Todoroki beat them without that,
Yeah.
showing that that's not that they literally had to force themselves to lose control of their quirks, and they still lost to people who didn't do that. That's cool.
Yeah. Also, I love how it gave us like an early Edgeku moment when Deku mass murdered all those people.
That definitely happened. Oh, Deku being labeled a terrorist is fucking hilarious.
It's an amazing, immaculate screenshot.
Bird Boy is just really fun because it's kind of just like he's not a villain, but he's a guy who like deals with crime a little bit, and just Deku helping him lean away from that was very fun and cute because they don't treat him like an outwardly bad person at all. They're just like, oh, you're like the middleman for a lot of heists and shit. Okay, that that's I mean like that's illegal, but like okay,
Yeah, I
good
mean,
for you, I guess.
guys gotta eat, right?
Oh, he's another example of someone who could not be a hero even though he has a quirk. Oh my god.
All right.
Also, one very minor thing about why I love that movie. It is so
Bloody.
bloody by MHA standards. They bleed so much.
I'm just thinking about the scene. I think it's Bird Boy, and he's like going down the stairs
Oh
with like
yeah,
his
and
blood
his blood is
against the wall.
streaking the wall. It's so
Yeah.
gross. Deku and Bakugo bleed a lot too. It's fun because you don't see that a lot with MHA.
All right. So we're gonna get to comments soon, but there's one more. Normal lady is too old for Deku.
Shocker! Don't ship the teenager with the fucking adult, you
There is a
weirdos.
lot of fan art with them, and it's very funny. I get she's a very big lady. She's a very
Hmm.
big lady, and it's funny to see the whole Deku meme turned around on Uraraka.
But cease.
Yeah, I just remember like it's the second scene they have together where like Deku's coming back to the school and she like picks him up and says, "Are you a student here?" And he says, "Yes,
Yes,
ma'am."
ma'am. It's so funny. She looks like she's picking up a doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Oh,
On the
didn't you
other
say?
hand, on the
Wait, didn't
other
you say you were? Oh, no, you can keep going.
on the other hand, uh, Ochako hesitated. Therefore, Mei and Bakugo are fair game. They could be canon.
All right. Oh, thing I was gonna ask is, didn't you say I was gonna talk about David Shield for something?
Yes, and it's for one of our comments about this is pretty.
Oh,
Let's just get to the very interesting comment first, which is about like Deku being quirkless is like an analog for him being like disabled.
okay. There's disabled and then racism. I'll start with the disabled first. That is the I would say less bad reading. I still think it's wrong.
I
If
think
you want
it
to read
makes
Deku as
enough
anything, what is that
sense.
being fucking short?
Yeah, and again, like I think like what you says make more sense, which is like he's short and like maybe if you want to put him with like a disability, you can maybe compare him to a colorblind person.
Yeah. The reason I don't like saying he's disabled is because he's not. He's able-bodied, and saying he doesn't have a quirk doesn't make sense because it's like, okay, but what is the thing Deku can't do? You can't name anything because quirks all do different things. In
Yeah.
fact, it's more likely than not that you're going to get a quirk that gives you like a side effect disability. That's literally more likely to happen.
Yeah, so like again, I see where the comparison comes from because like when you look at everyone's like, oh, everyone's like extra abled while he's just normal in comparison, or
Yeah,
like
but like
he's normal but like in comparison he looks like he's behind everyone else. So
yeah,
like I
but
see.
then as we can bring up with like David Shield or Rhodey, you can have a quirk and still be just really, really, really weak.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, the thing that I think Bakugo is very clearly supposed to like be an exaggerated version of is the big, taller, stronger kid beating up the smaller, weaker kid.
Yeah.
Just instead of it being a literal size difference, it's quirks. Like that's what I feel it's supposed to represent. And then I remember the other one is someone said, and this person I think is still arguing in the comments. He's a trooper. Is
Oh
that it's
boy,
like racism?
keyboard warrior.
It's not because one, like they do a weird thing where they compare Deku to like Shoji Sing, but it's like Deku's not a heteromorph. No one would discriminate against Deku for his appearance because he looks like most people.
Yeah, and again, like, no, Bakugo's like wouldn't bully Deku's mom because Deku's mom is not Deku's mom, even though she's related to Deku. He
Yeah.
does
No,
he
no, no,
doesn't.
no. Like, no, the race they're talking about is quirklessness, which doesn't make sense
Yeah,
because he's
exactly.
random.
That's
But
what I'm
like,
saying. Like
I,
it can't be a
I
race
think
because
the
it's
I
just a
gave.
trait or like a lack of a trait
No, I think
that
what I
Baku's
would
bullying
give
him
as a
for.
better example is one, if Bakugo knew someone who was quirkless but didn't act like Deku, he wouldn't mind them. And if Deku had like an okay quirk and acted the exact same, Bakugo would still hate him. Hell, you can even see that. Deku's the person Bakugo hates the most, but the person he hates the second most is Todoroki. Because he just hates people who don't act the way he wants them to. Deku looks down on him. Well, Deku doesn't, but Bakugo thinks Deku looks down on him by treating him as an equal, and Bakugo thinks Todoroki's looking down on him by not using his flames. So it's literally not a matter of if you're quirkless or not. It's just a matter of your attitude. Because Bakugo's not a bigot. He's just a bully. He's just a 15-year-old bully who needs to stop bullying people.
Yeah, like, again, like if you were to compare like Deku's quirkiness to something, it would be like either really short or like I think that's what makes the most sense, or like being colorblind, because like when you're colorblind or very short, you're like discouraged from getting certain jobs, even though
Yeah.
you can possibly do it if
Yeah,
you
and
really
even
want to go
then,
for
the
it, but
reason
like
I think
you are
shortness
heavily
works so well
discouraged.
is because it's sort of like the joke I made. It's like being short doesn't objectively stop you from joining a professional sport, but also you probably aren't joining the NBA, and you're not fucking Hinata Shoyo. You're not going to the Brazilian. You're not going to the Olympics in volleyball.
Yeah.
uh, so it's because that's it. Because it's just like because that's the only thing Deku like literally, not like even literally. There's no law against you becoming a hero without a quirk. It would just be really hard. That's the only thing Deku literally can't do is become a hero, and that's not due to like discrimination or anything. It's just because it's a career path that is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Just like it'd be hard to join the NBA. I'm 5'6". I can't join the fucking NBA, even if I was athletic.
Ah, okay. Oh man, I actually forgot about one that wasn't a comment. So,
What?
all
We'll
right,
go to
all
that real
right.
quick.
So, do you remember what happened when Mirko's voice actor in the dub was revealed?
Right now, you best be prepared for me to send you flying.
I like this guy. He's fun.
Oh yeah, she was a black woman,
Black
and people
should
thought she didn't
sound
sound
like
black enough.
black. Black should. I remember there was somebody like it was like a Twitter hashtag for a bit, like black should sound like black. But then when you Google Mirko's dub voice actress, she was she was a black lady.
Which was kind of just like a funny. I think that's actually just a case of like, what are you doing, MHA fandom? Come on, it's a little goofy. It's a little goofy.
I'm just
You're,
all
you're
right.
being silly right now.
I know this is not what any of them wanted, but I'm just imagining. Did you want like some urban slang in Mirko's speech?
Yeah, are you like Steven Crowder, where if you don't sound like literally like a stereotype, you're not black?
Hey, what the fuck? You got a fucking problem? I'll pound the living shit out of you, you dumbass freaky tourist. I'll knock your fucking head off. You want more, huh? Say hi to people in Jersey for me.
Very odd. All right, I'm speed running through our first comment section for anything that looks interesting.
All right.
We kind of addressed this. Someone's like, Deku growing up doesn't justify not hanging out with his friends. They're war vet buddies. And it's just like, first of all, war vets can also drift apart. What are you talking about? Second of all, I don't take it as Class 1A literally never hangs out. He said their schedules never line up, so it's hard to plan get-togethers. Here's how I read it, and also just understanding the characters. They can't do full class get-togethers all the time, but that doesn't mean they never talk or hang out, because one,
Yeah.
literally we see Ochako with Sue and Momo, so and two, let's just be realistic. You think Ida is gonna go more than like a month without getting coffee with Deku? No, he would never.
Yeah. Also, the chapter ends with a big spread of all them jumping together. So clearly they got back together in a big group hangout at some point.
Yeah, and it's not. It is just like, even then, it's just fine. 'Cause it's like who cares? What like what? oh no, they can't hang out that often. Do you know when they were probably hanging out the least? When Deku was in college getting his teaching degree. That's when I guarantee they were hanging out the least. um, so yeah, that's it. All right,
Yeah.
okay, and then the building off of that was Deku accepting the armor invalidates the teacher thing because it shows he wasn't content being a teacher, and it's like no, Deku picked. Deku couldn't be a hero logistically, like he theoretically could. It wouldn't be a good idea. So Deku was a teacher, another form of heroism that takes advantage of his skills
Yeah.
and also copies in All Might's footsteps, something Deku always fucking does, except this time it's not toxic, which is good. But like Deku's happy with it, but it's not his ideal dream job. So when he gets his ideal dream job back, he does it. I think the analogy I made in the comments is it's the equivalent of like an athlete getting injured, and while they're recuperating, they like help with coaching.
And then the response was, well, if you're handicapped, you could still join the
Special Olympics.
The
And
Special
it's like,
Olympics.
what are the Paralympics? What is the Para-Olympic equivalent to being a hero? Is it not just being a teacher? That's what you're doing. You're doing a form of it. All right, next up, someone's like, no, Deku shouldn't have a quirk because, Baku bullied him for being quirkless. And it's like, no. Deku's insecurity partially stems from his quirklessness, but it also stems from, like, his own, like, backbone and how, like, he kind of let Bakugo walk all over him.
Yeah.
All right, and then no, Deku did.
I know we had a very long comment about the Bakugo bullying thing. So you want?
No, we'll get to that. No.
Okay.
We're on episode 1's comments still.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Black Clover bad takes. That would take a while to collect, and we will do it when the series ends.
Yes. Probably.
Blah 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 blah. All right, let me keep going. Oh yeah, Doomsday. We did not explain Doomsday perfectly because one thing we forgot to mention is one major aspect of Doomsday theory is that you lose control of your quirks. And here, I'll be lazy and copy my fucking comment because I'm lazy. All right, here's why the can't control your quirk thing doesn't matter. One, how many people can't control their quirks that weren't given them by other people? Because like Aoyama's quirk fucks him up because All For One gave it to him. Same with like Shigaraki's decay, or like even Deku with One For All.
Or
one of
like
the quirks
the
I can,
Nomu or Spinner who like.
yeah, one of the only quirks I can think of where they have trouble controlling it is Eri with hers, and that ties into the whole thing of like we can't reject people as a society because Eri's quirk builds up power in her horn until it eventually comes out. As we learn, you can remove it with like a really quick, easy surgery.
Yeah.
So like if we were a more inclusive, supportive society, something like that would be a non-issue. And then one of the only like ones that wasn't done through pure tampering that doesn't have an easy solution is Toya. But Toya is because they kept fucking breeding to try and get the perfect child. That'd be like saying I have the dog doomsday theory, and my point is that sometimes purebred dogs are really susceptible to cancer because we keep purebreeding dogs for some reason.
Well, I mean, like you shouldn't purebreed dogs, all right, at all. Like it's just bad for them.
No, that's the point. It's like the theory's not valid, and the only reason it's happening is because someone was doing the dumbest shit on the planet, and they just need to cease. Because naturally, no, most quirks evolve and you can control them. Tokoyami had a quirk that was very dangerous at night. He learned to control it by the age of 16. And also, all it takes to stop the quirk from rampaging is to have a bright flashlight. So again, support the people around you.
It is just kind of like think of like everyone's different. Everyone has different problems, so you gotta be open-minded to help them with their problem.
Yeah. Oh, and then this is just a funny one. Someone's like, all the opinions you guys are responding to sound like they come from children. Maybe a few do in comment sections, but generally speaking, no, these are coming from like weekly review channels that are a lot bigger than us and are definitely run by adults.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think children could be so meticulous to get that many views on a weekly manga review channel.
Okay, and then here was another one. Someone's like, no, I think someone's basically like, no, Knuckle Duster took painkillers not because he needs them to fight, but because he's old, which I don't think makes sense. Because that was portrayed in a scene where he was also talking about his bulletproof vest, which is like him listing all the things that are helping him punch above his weight class. But that's a fine reading. And then they just say that like humans can do superhuman things, which is true. Mirio had enough brute strength to beat up Class 1A. Endeavor is a tanky son of a bitch. Shigaraki's really fast. Like all
Stain
that
is
is
a cool
true.
sword boy.
And then all that is very true, but also without their quirks, those guys would all lose the fights that they've won.
Yeah.
If Mirio was only super strong, he would not be Class 1A. If Endeavor was only tanky, then High End would have killed him. Pretty fucking obvious. All right, let me see what he's talking about. Wait, show. Okay, and then like with Stain, one thing I pointed out is Stain only wins for two reasons. One, he's lethal, which heroes can't be. And two, he fights in alleys, which are advantageous to him. Because like the joke I always make is, if Todoroki wanted to beat Stain in one hit, he could do what he did to Sero. But he can't because they're in an alleyway. This guy disagrees with that, which is not true. He could have done that. Let's see here. But a pretty strong hero. But the thing is, like, you can't just be like a pretty strong hero quirkless, because the thing is, like, you're eventually going to get fucked up. Look at Night Eye. Night Eye always takes the sidelines, because when he shows up, he's really physically strong until someone actually strong shows up. Then he dies.
Yeah, and he's like someone with the advantage of like precognition too.
Yeah, because that's kind of the problem. It's like, could you theoretically be like a really low-end hero quirkless? Yes,
Absolutely.
in theory.
Yeah, you could.
Makes sense why Deku doesn't do that, because, you know, he runs in the face of danger, so he'd probably kill himself. And two, I don't think the series, they also say that the series is pushing the theme, that no, quirkless people can and should be heroes. I don't really agree with that, because I think if that was the case, we would have had just a quirkless hero. Not
Well, I
like
mean, we do. We have Deku.
not a caveat, not a fucking caveat, or not one at the very end of the series where it's only Deku because he had experience with quirks and it cost $1 billion, just like a regular quirkless hero, which we don't have.
Yeah.
So, like, could you theoretically be like a mid hero with a quirk? Yes, but logistically speaking, it makes sense to not do that because you're probably gonna fucking die.
Yeah. You know, it's just kind of thing like maybe some people should try playing to their strengths. So if your strength isn't being a fighter, you can be a supporting role or like being a teacher, whatever. Like
No, then
there's plenty of heroes that aren't even
is,
fighters. They
I
do
brought up
other
is
stuff.
one of MHA's core themes is that you need to play to your strengths, and by doing things that are self-destructive or dangerous, you're hurting yourself and making it harder for you to help others. That's why Deku couldn't save Bakugo, because he fucked his arms. Kirishima, even though he wanted to be a flashy hero, had to be just a shield because that's just who he is. And if you're quirkless, you kind of have to accept that being a hero might be a little dangerous, and you might
gotta
fucking
take
die.
a more cerebral approach.
Yeah, it might be a better idea. Alright, and then this last one's kind of weird. In this fandom who sees slapping your son once, twice in the manga as genuinely irredeemable, they're talking about Shigaraki's dad. I got the impression that that was like a regular thing. I got the impression that he was just abusive. That's my reading, at least.
I mean, we only like it's not like we see like a whole lot of their life. It's like a week, a time span of like a couple days, right?
But you kind of get the feeling that this is just how they are.
Yeah.
And then as genuinely irredeemable, if people think Shigaraki's dad is genuinely irredeemable, that is a little goofy. He just needs like fucking counseling. Or if you cause the deaths of hundreds of thousands directly and indirectly and show no remorse or regret, then you deserve to be an innocent victim.
Well, it's just the thing.
I don't think
about, like,
people agree with that. I think it's more like because all the main villains are very clearly like you can tell what happened to them. It makes you want them to be. It makes you want them to get redeemed.
Yeah, they all have a sad backstory, and you know, again, like they're the way that they are, not entirely because of the choices they made. It's partly because of like the circumstances they found themselves in, which like that's the tragic part of it, which kind of makes you want to sympathize with them.
And like, I don't even think this guy's reading it right, because he says like, "I'm happy the league got clowned on as the losers they are." I don't think that's how the league is portrayed at all. The league is portrayed as like
Uraraka cried for Toga. She cried.
Yeah. Shigaraki has like the dead man silhouette in the last page of MHA. Or like the dead man ghost. All right, second comment section. Let's go. Someone talked about Evangeline from Wakfu. You're a king. I'm rewatching Wakfu. I finished season 2. It's peak. I know I'm saying it wrong. I'm not saying Wakfu. I refuse.
Good
Next,
show.
we're skipping that one because that's the long one. We will get to that fucker. Next, someone said, I never understood the female lead curse complaints that MHA and Shonen in general get. I just don't expect a series targeted towards young boys to always flesh out women characters to the same degree. It's like complaining that parents get sidelined. That's different. because parent is a type of thing, and parents aren't in battle shonen because if they were good parents, then a lot of the battle shonening wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it's like what Oda said. Like, moms are like the antithesis to adventure.
Because
I don't want moms.
they care about their kids.
Yeah.
And then with the whole woman thing, it's like I am not surprised when I see a series targeting young boys underdeveloped its female characters, but I would prefer if it didn't do that. I think it's actually better when you greatly develop both.
Well, the thing is, just like parents are like like an archetype of character. Female characters just half the population. Like
yeah, woman
so
is
not quite the same.
Yeah, and it is just like I don't know. That's why I don't mind if there's like less female characters, but I do generally prefer when they're really well written. Like Soul Eater, where Maka is as well written as Kid in Black Star. She just is.
Yeah, and I guess like we can just like hop to this other one asking us about Chainsaw Man's female cast and why it wasn't high in your tier list.
You weren't here for it, first of all, so you don't even need to defend yourself.
Yeah, I know it's not my tier list, but like I kind of agree with most of what you did. I think I'd maybe put Chainsaw Man like a tier higher because it does have a female lead in the second half.
That's fair. It's just like you have a few very strong ones and just a lot of
yeah, again, like there's a great villain in Makima. You know, I love Asa in the second half.
Neat.
Yeah, it's just like again, like we're not. It's not about like how well written they are per se. It's about like what prominence they have in comparison to the other cast. Because like on one hand, I could say like, dude, I love like One Piece so much. Like I love Big Mom more than like any character in Fairy Tail, maybe. Well, that's not. That's even true. Fair. That's not even true, but
no, I don't think
in Eden Zero. In Eden Zero, I like Big Mom more than any female character in Eden Zero. But I couldn't say that One Piece like treats its female characters as well as Eden Zero does. Right. Which is why like the top tier you have is like literally Claymore, which is like 90% female characters.
Yeah, like it's all women.
And then Soul Eater, which is female lead, and in the core cast it's like 4 girls, 3 guys, right?
And Maka specifically like is hard carrying Soul Eater because Maka is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I could think of that's not there that I would put is like Medaka Box.
We were just putting what was on the random tier list we picked. We didn't make it ourselves. We're lazy.
No, it's like a weird collection you have. Like
no, we just used whatever the random tier list we found did. All right, what's next? Someone asked, "How's it racist to say Japan is a vassal state of the U.S.?" It's not. That's correct. It is in some ways. What's racist is to say Japan is a vassal state of the U.S., therefore ignoring everything about Japan's culture when you're analyzing its series to instead supplement American culture is lazy analysis. You're just doing cultural erasure.
Yeah. Again, like, and also it's been a vassal state for like how long now? Like almost a century?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is not a copy of the U.S. yet, so when's it going to happen?
Yeah. Oh, someone said propaganda is a term made up by communists. I don't know if that's true. If it is, why would I give a shit?
Good for them, because propaganda of all kinds.
It's the term propaganda for police, which is a thing that objectively happens at least sometimes. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
All right, and then blah blah blah. Some neat comments about Ochako. Oh, someone's like, I don't like how comfortable people are calling the Attack on Titan author a fascist sympathizer. That's fine. I don't know the guy.
Let's ignore that. This isn't about Attack on Titan.
That's a fair thing to feel uncomfortable about because you don't know the guy. Next, blah blah blah, propaganda, blah blah blah. The heroes are effectively superpowered cops. That's true, and the series never really reflects on it. I would say it does, just not to a super satisfying degree.
Yeah.
But I do know there were protests back in 2022 in Japan about police brutality. The video didn't bring that up. That's a failing of the video for not bringing that up. And then yes, heteromorph discrimination was bad, which we talked about.
Yeah.
The fighting point we brought up is redundant. Fighting can still happen, where the heroes in society are critiqued. We know what. Did they watch the video? We literally talked about how like arcs exploring corruption within the hero society, especially at like the very high level, would be really fucking good. Whatever.
Yeah.
Someone said if the girls had better powers, they would be more relevant. That's not true. Momo has a top tier power.
You know, like literally, okay, Momo is like cracked up the wazoo. Like I remember, like in like her character intro thing, like in like one of the early volumes, Horikoshi said like, yeah, I was gonna give her quirk to a pro, but that'd be too overpowered, so I decided to give it to a student instead, who's less experienced and couldn't make literally anything. Like I'm just imagining if like Momo had like 10 years of experience on her, as soon as Gigantomachia is like running up, she'd make like a rocket launcher with the nerve poison thing inside of it, and then she'd shoot it straight into his mouth like a sniper rifle or something.
Oh wait, and then we have just another like, oh, I hate the villains guy. It's only funny because their final sentence is, yeah, right, I'm about to give a shit about Dobby's daddy was mean to him. When my home was trampled, my brothers were flattened, my cousins were captured and trafficked by the people Dobby unleashed on the world. I mean, good on him for getting really into the roleplay, because my god. It's okay to sympathize with the villains. Yeah. That's a valid thing to do.
Like,
Next,
I guess it's just the thing where, like, like, because of what people like Endeavor would do is a lot more imitable and like real life. Like, you almost feel it's easy to disconnect yourself from a villain who wants to destroy the world or who like
do something like incomprehensible.
Yeah, and as opposed to someone who's like, oh no, that's abuse of a child. I've seen that before. I know people like that, or something like that. Obviously,
all right, and then someone brought up an interesting point, which is MHA calling
one other thing
propaganda.
One other thing about the female characters and having cool quirks. Literally, the most powerful quirk that's not all for one or one for all
is
Stars and Stripes, and they get like a volume for the
Stars and Stripes is more powerful than One for All. It's an insane quirk.
I guess, like, to be fair, I don't like hate Stars and Stripes or anything. Like I think I like them more than most people do, because just thought
I really like her, but it is just really funny that, like, behold, the strongest woman in the series, there she go.
I thought it was cool, like how like after the whole HQ thing, Stain has his talk with All Might about like all the people he inspired, and then we meet one, and they're really cool and good, but they also kind of have a lot of the flaws that All Might did, which I just thought was neat and cool.
Yeah, and then someone brings up something interesting where they're like, maybe, or they're like, one valid thing the propaganda thing is that Jump is funded by the Japanese government, which is why every single manga in it is extremely pro-state. First of all, what are you talking about? One Piece is not pro-state.
The government is literally run by monster lizard men, and they want to take over the world.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of Jump manga that are anti-state.
Nuke islands for no reason.
Secondly, I've looked into this. The most I've found is the Japanese government helps with... I know they support the anime industry a lot. They even helped fund seasons of Chihaya Furu, which, thank you, fund more. I want more.
It's their biggest export, so of course they take an interest.
And then the things that I know they help fund is, like, translation and localization, like trying to expand it outwards, because they're looking at it through an economic lens. I haven't found any proof that they support Jump in the type of way where they would have sway over whether or not like how anti-government Oda's allowed to be. If they do have sway, I guess they don't give a shit.
Yeah, I know.
Oda's pretty anti-government.
Again, like, it's the type of it's like the conspiracy theory type thing where, like, could this be true? Yes, because like if a conspiracy is true, it would be well hidden. But like, are you saying this based on anything?
Yeah, I'm confused. Oh, and then someone else brought up a cool point, which is because I brought up, like, is MHA having its biggest organization a cult? Is that fear-mongering, or is that, like, a valid villain? Someone's like, oh, in Japan, cults actually do a lot of terrorist attacks that kill random civilians. It's like, that still doesn't tell me if that's fear-mongering or not, but it's like, at the very least, that's an interesting part of Japanese society that you could talk about, because MHA clearly reflects on it. And then, oh, yay, Puffy responded. Someone told us the privilege telling you your experiences don't exist. How do you keep your balance without even a tiny bit of gray matter, let alone actual self-awareness? I don't know what that's talking about. If we did that, I'm sorry. All right, let's see what the reply is. Practice your reading comprehension. Come back and read it. Okay, dickhead.
So
I'm not sure. I don't know what I did wrong.
Is it about the bullying? Is it about, like, the heteromorph section? Like, okay, I can't tell.
I don't get so, because we were solely negative during the heteromorph section. We said that was just bad.
Yeah.
And then
the propaganda part.
Propaganda. We were we not clear enough on that? American police are not good. They're pretty fucking bad at their jobs. They're pretty ass.
if you want me to say it, I don't like them.
No, they're pretty ass.
I mean, I'm Canadian, but like again, like I'd say like we have a lot of the similar problems here.
Yeah, no, Canada. Oftentimes, some of your worst stuff is just ours, but like a little bit lesser.
Don't believe it. That's maple washing. Okay, that's another different type of propaganda my country likes to pull.
Maple washing goes
No,
hard.
literally, that's what the term's called. It's like, oh yeah, we're like America, but not as bad.
No. I mean like lesser, like literally, like I'm sure your police are literally just ours, but not quite as bad. Because I find it hard to believe that many countries have police as bad as ours. I think that would be impressive. All right, and then to be fair about the old gen being a stepping stone for the new, it makes sense that shonen fans believe that, because that's also what shonen manga constantly tells us about their characters. But manga aren't characters, you dingus. Whatever. Alright, so yeah, if we said your experiences don't exist, sorry, didn't mean to do that. I don't know when we would have, but sorry about
like,
that.
I guess it's just like we talked about a lot of like problematic things. So if we said something that was like bad and like offended you, like I guess like please tell us what it is instead of just like saying
because no. See, but this is a problem. We went too far. The farthest we can go politically, while still being completely correct in every way, is Yamato, because we're right in every fucking way, and it goes beyond politics, because we're just objectively correct. That's what the story is saying.
No, like literally the only way I would accept you saying Yamato's a man is you straight up just tell me I don't believe in trans people. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah, because at that
argument
point,
done.
none of your arguments matter, because you should
you.
say I don't care what the story says. It's wrong anyway. Because at which point I would have to talk to you. You suck. Anyway, next, someone's basically like, I don't think. Someone started the I think the longest thread on any of our videos. Good for you, champ. I don't think they responded to any of the comments too. Is they just said like I don't think Bakugo's apology was good enough. That's fine. That's like up to you. If you don't think it was good enough, that's fine. I thought it was fine, but you know. Sure. Next, I think Kirishima's relationship with Bakugo is bad because he's only his friend because he can endure the physical abuse and violent personality. I think the physical abuse is just slapstick. It's funny.
Yeah, like I remember like in the scene where they
with the newspaper, but then he blocks it with his hardening. It's funny.
Yeah, I just remembering the scene where they team up in the sports festival where it's like, come on, I'm a horse that won't break.
Oh yeah, Kirishima's very gay too. There's that. But yeah, just you know, I don't think the Bakugo Kirishima thing you're supposed to take is like genuinely like, oh, he's dealing with this sick man. It's like, no, because he can put up with Bakugo's bullshit, Bakugo mellows the fuck out.
Yeah, I know. Again, like I guess it's just like a certain like balance. Like
yeah,
like
and then they're just
like,
I think basically they're kind of saying that like
behavior.
they dealt with harsh bullying to a greater degree than we did, so they just kind of have a harder time accepting Bakugo, which is fine. If you, for personal reasons, can't accept a type of character, that's completely valid.
No,
and then
like no one has to like MHA, and no one has to like Bakugo for any reason.
And then also just like cut contact with Bakugo. If you could argue that would have been like a healthier bullying message, but I don't want that because I like Bakugo and Deku's rivalry, and I don't want to go away. And then the comments got insane because a bunch of random people saying stuff like Deku has a disability, blah 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 blah. The main one is someone said Bakugo didn't get repercussions for his discriminatory actions. And it's like, what? It's like, basically, they're kind of approaching it from the lens of Bakugo's apology should lead to, like, punishment against him, which is like, one, no, that's not the point of apologies. Point of apologies is to help the victim in some way, not
Personally,
for you
I
to
think
get a
for what
wrist
he
slap.
did, I think for the stuff he did in middle school, he should have been punished somehow.
It would have been neat, but you know,
Yeah.
the teachers didn't. The point is that's a societal failing that the teachers didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then let me think what else. And then they point out that like, oh, Bakugo's career would tank. It's like, no, it wouldn't. If people learned that who now is like publicly one of his closest friends, he was a dick to him in middle school, people would be like, oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Glad you guys very obviously made up.
Yeah, that's the thing about the cut contact thing is like I feel like I'm certainly willing to not have that happen because Bakugo and Deku are still childhood friends who've known each other for a long time.
Yeah. And okay,
not saying that like it makes it okay what Bakugo. Of course it doesn't. Nothing
no,
does.
of course not. The point is like it's nice to see them make up.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. And
You
then
can say that's
right next-
unrealistic, but like I'm not looking for necessarily realism in the
yeah,
story. Like
it's just like
I
the
know the
point
perfect.
always seems to be that like Bakugo was discriminatory, which he wasn't. He was just being a dick.
Yeah.
And then next is they say that like Bakugo wasn't punished enough by the narrative, and I can get feeling that. For example, I like Boa Hancock, but I don't think she got like a good enough narrative comeuppance for how shitty she was.
Yeah, no, like that's like the thing that like bothers me most about One Piece. Actually, like the thing, like I don't think Amazon Lily like properly like I'm not even sure if this was the intent they were going for.
Like
But,
I get, like the thing is like
do I
Hancock is
have
more
proof?
justified than most villains because like her tyranny isn't for an evil cause. It's because she thinks it's the only way to protect the civilians of the island. So like, be nicer to her than like Moria, which is yes, you should. You
Yeah,
definitely
like,
should.
but like,
she
do I
was
have
still
like?
bad.
Yeah, no, but like, do I have any reason to believe she won't like turn Margaret into stone like next week something happens? Like,
Yeah, it's kind of yeah. It's like,
I feel like we should have at least like maybe I'm just missing a line or something somewhere where she says, "Oh, I'll try to treat my people better" or whatever. Because just like one thing that's cool about One Piece is Luffy going to all these places and then like changing it for the better somehow by being a cool.
It's just
cool
like it
boy.
feels like
Well,
Hancock
like it feels
didn't
like
get
Amazon Lily didn't have that as like at all.
I
Like,
just wanted like I'm not saying Hancock needs to get like her shit kicked in like Crocodile, because
No.
Hancock is not nearly as bad as Crocodile. She's literally just like someone due to her trauma desperately trying to protect her people from a very serious threat, but in doing so, she ends up being kind of tyrannical in certain ways. So I would have liked that. But anyway, Bakugo narrative comeuppance. I think he got it because like the first one is like he thinks he's better than Deku. He thinks he can show him up. Ha ha ha. And then they fight in like chapter 7, and Deku loses the match, and Bakugo loses the match, and it's like fuck, I want to die. And then he sees that Todoroki's stronger than him, and he's like fuck, I hate myself. And then we cut to the sports festival, and even though Bakugo wins, it's not like a narrative win for him.
yeah, because like he's angry. They had to chain him to the pole because he wasn't satisfied with his win.
Because he, unlike Deku, isn't able to do the reaching out and help people thing that Deku did. So Todoroki didn't go all out against him, and we even see that Todoroki got more requests for help in the next season or the next arc than Bakugo did, because Bakugo didn't perform well. So again, narrative comeuppance. And then, hell, the reason Bakugo got kidnapped by the League of Villains, which in Bakugo's mind led to All Might losing his powers, is because of his bad attitude. They thought they could turn him. That's why he was kidnapped. So that's a pretty fucking good comeuppance for his own attitude. So does Bakugo get punished by the narrative for being a prick? Yes, a lot. Oh, also the fight where All Might beats the ever-loving shit out of him and Deku for arguing. Also that one. And then for the other part, which is making up with Deku, he does. And the thing is, like, even if you don't think the apology was good enough, what I think is major is when Bakugo says, "We're all going to support you, and we're going to be there for each other and keep going upwards." That's the part that gets Deku to come back to UA. Because it's Deku being able to rely on people. Specifically, the person who always tormented him and made him hate his life is now being the one who's saying, "I will be one of the rocks that supports you." And I think that was like the big change. Also, just like Bakugo, if we want like more like, oh, Bakugo didn't get punished enough. Bakugo blocked a hit that was going to hit Deku that really brutally injured him. So there's also that.
Yeah.
It's like, I think if you think he should have had it like a little worse, especially like towards his middle school behavior when he was at his worst, if you wanted that to get addressed more, that's fair. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with Bakugo getting that addressed.
I have a very good recommendation for people who are disappointed with Bakugo's character for like the reasons we mentioned.
Oh, does it involve the background footage of this, or
yes,
something else?
Yes, because
Yeah.
if you want like a more like realistic like depiction or like arc about how to deal with a bully, watch Miraculous Ladybug: Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir, because Chloe Bourgeois, she's not only like the funniest character ever, but she's also she's like that archetype of like, oh no, the bully character who is gonna get redeemed ? But she never does. She always fucks it up.
There's literally a scene where everyone's trying to redeem her, and in Miraculous, what happens is like, if you have a bad enough mindset, the main villain will turn you into a supervillain. She gets so bad that she will literally sit and fume intentionally, waiting to get turned into a supervillain. She's hilarious. And also,
I remember how shocked Hawkmoth was when she did that. It's like, wait, you're okay with this? Like, yes. Come on.
Puff, you know what else? You know what else Miraculous does if you're unsatisfied with MHA?
What?
If you're upset that the villains don't get redeemed, go watch Miraculous, where all the villains are literally the main character's friends and family and like the people in her life, and no one holds a grudge against them.
Yeah, okay,
Ha,
so like
just
again, like
trick.
this
We
is
made 3 MHA videos to recommend a baby show.
hell
You
yeah.
fool.
I remember one fun thing that I forget if this was the director or one of the writers who said this about Chloe, but they said they wanted like a bully type character that didn't get redeemed specifically because they didn't want like, you know, because like kids are gonna watch it. They didn't want to teach kids like, you know, to try and kill bullies with kindness or whatever. They wanted to teach kids how to like deal with a bully instead of trying to redeem a bully, which is ignore
because
them,
not all
call them
kids
out
are
on their
going.
stuff, and don't let them push you around too much.
Yeah, because not all kids are going to have bullies who stop being mean to them. Sometimes they're just going to keep being mean, and you need to learn to like just ignore them.
Yeah.
Which is good because we it's not like Miraculous is also like unhealthy and never shows that, because like Kagami early on was like really cold to Marinette, but then they became friends. So it does both, because you know it's a kid show that tries to teach healthy lessons to kids. How nice. We're talking about Miraculous now.
Yeah, hell yeah. This is like the second time we've brought it up for an extended section.
God, it's so fun. Such my favorite baby show.
We gotta
French
do
cartoon to
bad.
get
We
reference
gotta
to this
do bad
video.
Miraculous takes one day.
That might take longer than MHA though.
Oh no, it
That's
would.
really
There's
bad.
so many, dude.
Mhm.
There's
Okay,
so
so
many
based-
5-hour-long video essays we could watch just to get like a big full list of just
Mhm.
one.
Okay, so that's it. We're done with the MHA saga.
We're not.
We're not. Oh fuck, we have one more.
There's
Oh, no.
there's two more, and these were
Oh, what
like,
have you been hiding from me?
No, these
All
were
right, what's up?
comments. These were comments from like One Piece videos when I was asking.
Oh, nice.
So, Deku is better as a support character, and like Bakugo should have been the main character or something.
Oh no, their point was that they wanted Deku to be like the man behind the computer.
Yeah, which
It's like, again, chapter 3 should have realized that's not the place the story was going. I'm pretty sure
Deku
they
is
said
not Oracle.
Horikoshi was writing himself into too many corners by making Deku overpowered. I can't think of what those corners are. Like, it's not like he does the Goku thing. Like, Deku only has the because the Goku thing is like, oh, we have to keep the high tier away from the villain before he fucks him up. Deku has the Goku treatment like what, maybe twice?
Yeah, twice. I'd say like Overhaul and
Yeah,
then
Overhaul and
Shigaraki
Shigaraki.
at the end.
Yeah, because otherwise it doesn't matter that Deku's quirk is really strong because it has like such a good collection of drawbacks. And also he's just fighting strong foes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Deku's so strong. Also, if Overhaul touches you, you explode and die.
And then this last one will be a quick one. It's just All Might needs to die, which is just Old Man and Shonen must die because Mentor must die. Which
Yeah,
All Might's one of my favorite characters,
can,
and I like that he sticks around and keeps getting cool.
Oh, and then I guess we
moments.
can kind of touch on this slightly too. This is gonna be the last thing we talk about. We kind of brought it up, but didn't explore it. All Might is not flawless by like any means. I don't know why people act like he is.
I think it's just because literally because chapter 1 we're like, oh, the crime rate went down
Yeah,
so
but,
much.
like,
He's such a cool, great
But
guy.
do you not know
he
what like
saved
context
so many
is?
people.
Like, do you not know what context is? Do you got to learn things?
I mean, I guess you could.
It's like
I
finishing
guess
Attack on Titan and being like, yeah, Eren was a guy who wanted to kill the Titans. That's what Attack on Titan was about.
I think it's like All Might himself did nothing wrong, but everyone else should have picked up their slack instead.
Mhm.
Maybe that's the mindset that's coming from.
Maybe, but also like All Might's did objectively have like a few bad things. Like the fact that he pushed his mindset onto Deku was bad.
Yeah, or like
the fact that he almost let Bakugo. The fact that he let Bakugo get tortured for so long was bad.
Or the fact that he tried to keep up the facade even after his final battle where he got crippled and could only be in a muscle form for an hour in a day, and had to create this grand illusion conspiracy thing to try and keep his image of the symbol of peace going.
You know, like hell, when he tries to fight All for One for the last time, if it weren't for Bakugo, the bad would have outweighed the good there. Everyone's like, oh, who's that Iron Man guy fighting All for One? That's kind of cool. And everyone's like, oh my god, All Might's getting ripped in half. I'm going to cry. So literally the bad would have outweighed the good if it weren't for Bakugo in that situation.
Yeah.
So just All Might is flawed. And also the idea of a symbol of peace is I don't even need to explain that. It's like, did you finish the fucking series? Symbol of peace is objectively not treated as a good thing in the series. That's why there isn't one at the end.
No.
So yeah,
I mean, I
we're
guess
done
you
with
could. I
MHA.
guess you could critique it for like, oh no, like hero worship bad, even though all superhero stories will
Oh,
like
if you want
inevitably
to do
fall
the
into that
critique that like
pitfall.
it's kind of weird that the symbol of peace worked at all as well as it did, that's fair.
Yeah.
But like that's different than being like, oh, dude, MHA just hypes up All Might in the concept of the symbol of peace as like objectively perfect. It's like, but it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
All Might does bad things, and being this in the symbol of peace is a horrendously flawed concept.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
are we
So,
done?
yep, that's it. We're
We're
done
done.
with MHA. We're free. We're
Guess
going
what?
to.
We're going back to 1B.
Yeah! Yeah, yo! Yeah,
All right.
yo!
So I guess give us One Piece opinions.
Dreaming. Okay, so two things. What bad One Piece opinions? Please give. And I am now reading Jujutsu Kaisen. So
You're
give
still in the peak era with
the
peak
peak era.
Toto.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm so happy every time he's on screen. I love him.
Toto.
I
That
love
interchange,
I
every
love
time he
his
comes,
fake ass
the peak.
flashbacks. I love his fake flashbacks.
Oh, he's not the only character that gets those.
Oh, now I'm excited.
It's the fake flashback. There's a lot of good in Jujutsu. Oh, Puff. Now that we're talking about not the shit I read weekly, I'm having so much fun.
Dude, when we do the Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm gonna do the thing where I clip what you said early on, like, I love Jujutsu Kaisen, I read it every week, it's so good, and then, like, what you bitching about, like, the weekly reading experience.
No, I've always said this. Jujutsu is not great to read weekly. I think it's probably one of the least fun manga to read weekly.
Yeah, I can see
Conan
that.
sucks too, by the way. I hate reading Conan weekly. Oh my god.
That
I
sounds
don't.
terrible.
I wait for a mystery to be completely wrapped up and then I read it.
Yeah, so again, like, I'm not gonna look at the comments for this one personally because spoilers.
Oh yeah, that's valid. So I
Yeah.
guess I'll be the one going through it, which should not surprise any of you because I'm in the comments all the time. But
Yeah, if you want to learn about the division of labor, it's we both make the thing, I edit the video, I upload it, I make the thumbnail, and then Shiki goes to the comment section and
Yells at people.
Yeah, and yells at people. And sometimes he'll get the footage, sometimes I'll get it.
Yeah, it just depends. Like I'm getting the miraculous footage because I spent $5 on the game.
Yeah, or like, I've been obsessed with Fire Emblem lately, so like haven't been like playing that many games, and because it's a
Right.
DS game, it would look like weird.
Oh, if you ever see comedically unrelated footage, it's because we were lazy and just recorded whatever we were playing recently.
Yeah, you can look back at any of the old Bad One Piece opinions for that. Like, I have, like, Resident Evil, Danganronpa,
Look out, one of these days we're gonna
Elden
get fucking
Ring.
Zenless Zone Zero background footage.
Oh, no, your second gambling addiction.
I don't spend money on either. Look at that. Look at that. Look at my perfect, flawless peak self-control. I play 2 gacha games and I've spent $0.
Yeah, alright.
Alright, that's
good
it.
night.
Goodbye with the MHA saga.
Goodbye, MHA.